You know, some of the point of differences when we move over to this venue, according to the head judge, is to the speed and power throughout maneuvers and the ability to execute creative lines, which also means combinations of those major maneuvers are going to be key, because I think that this is that type of wave where you can go big and then connect it and go big again. Much less so over at the bowl where you have maybe one section.
Heat 1 of round 4. There's your lineup. Wade Carmichael, Michel, Bourez, Owen, Wright fighting it out for a place in the quarterfinals. 1 and 2 will make that jump. Third place, well, they'll drop out of the event with a 9th. But Pete, just based on what you've seen form-wise, who's carrying the advantage and which two surfers do you think are going to be moving through to the quarters? And Heat 1 of round 4 sees 3 competitors out there fighting for 2 quarterfinal spots. And it's Owen who's going to get things started first. Gliding down the line through these first couple of turns. Good rhythm. Something that he's had throughout this contest, but doesn't finish that wave off. A lost opportunity to make a quick start here. Anyone who's a big fan of surfing and wants to tap into the history of this place, check that book out. You can find it online, but here we go. A replay of Owen's first ride.
And that's his strength. I mean, look at the pace he carries. It doesn't look like he's like accelerating ever too quickly. It's just this nice flow to his surfing right there. Unfortunately, the board breaks. He would have heard that when he attacked the lip right there.
Insider, but Winky's completely different. You can find those wide ones, and being third in the order for priority, he might just get one on the way out.
Well, here's a replay of the wave that was happening during that interview of Wade Carmichael. So this one's stretching out pretty quickly and having to chase it down. Never got to that open face. I mean, just the transition turn there. Not going to score too many points.
Wade Carmichael had a 1.3 on his first wave, trying to make up some points on this one. This wave stretching out pretty nicely, and he belts it. Impeccable timing as per usual, and the second turn even stronger as he hooks through that inside section. So that's a bit more like it from the rookie from the Central Coast of New South Wales.
Rex, that's going to be a huge score, and so those guys slamming the lip like that as well, they love it.
Thank you, Strider. Pete, we're seeing the replay here of Wade Carmichael. Has that beat Durbridge kind of timing, doesn't he? Every time he hits that lip in the pocket, he really lets go.
And it's something that, you know, you obviously train doing it for 2-3 turns.
Michel Bourez up now. Let's see what kind of score he can put up as his first ride. Nice, big, drawn-out carve in the pocket there. As he starts to find some momentum down the line. Already on his way to a solid number here. Wants to get that finish. He does it. So a good exchange from Carmichael and Bourez, and waiting on the numbers to fall now.
Well, you feel like Bourez wave a little bigger. Seemed like Wade's wave was down the line a little bit, so that might affect the score slightly.
Such a different pace. The wave is, you know, all down the line, whereas up at the bowl at Bell's, you've got that kind of race section, then it backs off, so you get that time to reset. Out here, there's not much time, so you're constantly searching for that next section, and to go into a full, complete turn off the top where you're bored.
But if you're wanting world titles, that's a bad result.
Wade Carmichael up at the moment. Out in front, trying to get rid of a 1.3 to really lock up one of these top 2 spots in this 4th round. He wants to get himself into the quarterfinals in just his 2nd championship tour event as a full-timer. He tries to save that ride with something explosive on the inside.
Italo Ferreira has a little bit of points of difference. You know, he's a much bigger frame, so his surfing is much bigger, but the quickness that Italo has, that's his strength. As we watch the replay here, this wave kind of bending out to sea, and you talk about that westerly angle, and these waves will do that. He stayed with it, though, because he knew that they were going to get a meaty section down at the end. Not going to score huge unless you have some high-impact turns mixed in.
Here goes Owen. He's back in 3rd spot. He needs a 3.51 to take 2nd position. A little bit more if he wants to jump up into the lead, and this is a nice ride for Owen. Unfortunately, that wave's going to stretch out and shut down.
And you see he's probably trying to adjust to the equipment. This one feels like it has a little more release out of the tail. At least that's how he's surfing it.
Owen getting the job done, front side and backside. I think sometimes too, Pete. He really masks his speed with that smooth style.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, but you can see there's, you know, a guy, I mean, you have to compare other backhander, you know, and go directly to your shaper and go, hey, this is how I was feeling. Let's do this with the board, and then have it be a fix. It's great stuff to have that communication, and Owen has that with JS. That the better waves are pushing onto the reef.
Back to live action now. Michel Bourez, roundhouse cutback to start this one off. Up into the pocket once again. There's that explosive speed on show. Floats and gets back out in front of it and lays down a huge layback. And still room to move. And he clouts the end section. And that's another solid ride. So he already had the single highest ride of the heat, a 6.83. He's about to bank a big score. Only needed a 1 to get to second.
Watch this wave. He does an absolute different turn every time. Roundhouse cutback. Tags the whitewash. Big open carve, the trademark of him. Float. Carrying a ton of speed, and then goes into layback. I mean, you talk about variety. That is variety here. The closeout tag at the lip. I mean, each and every turn, absolutely different variety. You know, the combination of major moves. He's hitting those elements. And Michel Bourez looks to, in a good spot, really, to turn this heat, because he's already got the best number and he's already backed it up.
Just under 19 minutes to go. And Strider watching on. Owen made that mistake, Strider, of committing to a wave and not getting into it.
Oh, huge mistake. And now look at this. Michel's going to get a really great looking wall. It's stretched out though, smashing down the line. God, he's just on fire right now. This thing's going to stretch out. Big sweep right there. Bang, and a finish, but he looks like he went down. Did he make that one?
Nope.
No, yeah, so Michel was paddling back out and saw that wave coming and looked in, and it looked like it was going to sweep underneath them both. And Michel gave it a paddle just to kind of lure Owen in, and he did just that. And Owen, even with that big wingspan, couldn't catch it, and he lost priority.
Oh, it just feels at the moment that even though there's still over 16 minutes to go, it's a bit of a battle for second spot here. We'll see if Owen can change that on this ride. Super vertical first turn. And he just waits for this wave to stand up again. Belts it in transition, climbs up onto the roof to get back out onto this open face. Hanging at the top of the bowl for a moment before dropping in once again. Nice big backhand float. His equipment stays together. He holds it. And that should be a pretty decent score.
Look again. You know, this wave, he didn't have that nice little beautiful cup. So he had to do the release out the back, which is amazing. Don't get me wrong, but you know, it's kind of nice when you can throw a ton of spray out the back. That one was a little better, but again, it didn't quite have a ton of spray. Not that that matters too much, but it does. If you're pretty far away and your judges are watching, it kind of does give you that ability to see the maneuver as a whole. It's going to be one of his better waves, but now they did get a wave for Wade. You know, he's trying to better a 2.77, and he waited for this one. He let that first one go, and just 2 moves. So the choice made there feels like probably Wade made a bit of an error, maybe gone on the first one and probably would have a better scoring opportunity, because it feels like Owen's going to get the better of that exchange.
Yeah, big shake-up coming your way on the Jeep leaderboard as we see Michel Bourez now trying to get rid of a 6.83 and extend this lead and lock up that quarterfinal spot. And with turns like that, he's on his way. A big finish once again, getting that board up and also moving some water.
Really, really cool. I mean, he is just putting in 110% into each and every maneuver. I mean, the carve itself was good, and then the snap, and then the final closeout move. 3 big high impact turns. Not a long wave, but that top to bottom surfing gets the judges' attention.
And he always does that, surfs at 110%, but at the moment he's not losing any flow at all. He's just linking each move together beautifully.
I mean, look at this, and the snap. That's it, gets the release out of it, and then bang. I mean, that's that. There's an accentuated bottom turn on each. He's not hurried to go and trying to fit it in. We talk about a 2-for-1. That's the kind of scenario where you want to have it be. This is just 3 big high impact moves. Again, sets up off the bottom, accelerates out of it, straight up vertical snap. I mean, that's in the critical section. That's a huge turn. And then he doesn't have to hurry it. He just straights into the bottom again, accelerates into the lip, gets there, timing it a little bit late, and then punches the fins over the top. I mean, he'll probably better his 6.83 here. I mean, feels like he will.
He just looks really sharp. 8.5 minutes to go, though. I mean, a lot can happen, and it needs to happen soon for Wade Carmichael. He's getting left behind here. What can he do with this wave? Climbs up over the foam. And he knows that he doesn't have much room to make up points down the line.
It's unfortunate, but he seems like he's trying to pick the waves that are loading up down the line, thinking that that's the ones that he's going to want, but he's sacrificing that first section.
Fun to watch these guys as they attack that wave, but Owen's up and riding here. We'll see if he can get something. Looks like a long stretched out wall though. Smashed it once there. See if he can get around. Big snap again. Looks like he's going to get some hammer time on the inside as well. So solid surfing right there.
Owens has moved out off the reef, and I like what he's done here. A bit of an adjustment. He carves down on this second maneuver, throwing some spray out the back.
All right, here we go. Up and riding. Wade Carmichael, boys, take it away.
Well, Wade Carmichael's got some foam to deal with on the face, but you can see the intent. Surfing with a lot of aggression, trying to drive that board hard through those calves. He gets a bit more of a high impact finish than Owen, but some pretty comparable rides there, Pete.
Yeah, and it's going to come to another exchange. These are the two that we're watching right now, fighting for that second position, the advancing position. Take a look at first Wade Carmichael. Again, at this point needs the 5.44, and that is just under the understanding that Owen didn't improve on the 4.5, which I think he does. But that high impact move on the end.
And it's something he did at Sunset so well under pressure. Michel Bourez just loving life out here at the moment now. He has such a healthy lead. He can really cruise his way through this ride. He can throw some high-risk turns and enjoy this opportunity to really just find his place in the lineup here at Winky. He's going to throw something big for the crowd. Well, Owen having a look at this one now with priority, keeping Wade off this ride. He wants to better a 5.07. To get further ahead, this wave shuts down, so job done from Carmichael there.
Well, exactly. And on that score there of that wave, probably didn't have the potential of the 6.01.
25 seconds to go. Looked a little sad then on screen on that close shot. Owen, meanwhile, down the line. Starts to rip into this one, trying to, again, get rid of that 5.07. And Wade only has seconds to get to his feet here. The onside announcer counting it down. He gets his opportunity. Starts with a foam climb, and this wave is breaking away. It's barely breaking, in fact. And Wade knows it's not going to be enough to chase down the required 6.01. And his Rip Curl Pro Dream will come to an end. Michel Bourez and Owen Wright, both quarterfinalists in the first event on the Gold Coast, are making the jump into the quarters once again.
Consistency.
Well, it's key, and Michel, a healthy heat score total once again, looking so sharp. Well, stay with us, because after the break, Mick Fanning, the three-time world champion, will hit the lineup once again here at Winky Pop.